Hi, and welcome to On the Couch, Conversations with Brenda Porter. Today's guest is Fracena Byrd. Fracena Byrd is the Associate Artistic Director of the Academy Theater. She has directed in all 4 Topless Play Festivals, directed Agnes of God, and has starred in many Academy Theater productions. She is head of the drama department at St. John's the Evangelist Catholic School. Her directing credits include Miss Nelson is Missing, Shooting Star, The Show Must Go On, Parts 1 and 2, The Wiz, and more. Outside of the Academy, some of her credits include Smokey Joe's Cafe at the Springer Opera House, Eveline in The Wiz, directed by Tony Award winner Kenny Leon, Hairspray, 9 to 5, and Chicago. She was last seen in Mamma Mia as Rosie and in the Dixie Swim Club as Jerry Neal. Welcome, Fracena.
And as you can see, I'm very close to a couch.
Yeah, well, that works. That works for me. I want to talk to you. We are in I hope it's not a phase, but we are in a new place where lots of African Americans are getting administrative positions. And you, as far as I know, outside of Kenny Leon many, many years ago when he became the Associate Artistic Director at the Alliance and then Artistic Director at the Alliance, you are the first person that I know that has received like the Associate Artistic Director of a PWI institution. And it was kind of before, the Academy must be a little bit ahead of the trend or the
I
style.
think so.
But more than that, I'm glad that the Academy recognized your talents and your gifts.
Oh, thank you.
Well, you've got it. Now, before you were the Associate Artistic Director, and I want to talk about that position a little, but before you were that, you were the marketing director. And still are the marketing director.
Still am, sort of. Yeah, still there.
So you carry lots of positions. How does that work being at the Academy with so many? Because you're a director, you're an actor, so how does that work?
You're juggling a lot of balls, but you get the whole administrative team involved with the marketing. I'm basically in charge of coming up with the marketing plan, but everyone pitches in on the execution therein. So I do a lot of assigning of smaller pieces. So it's my job to come up with the big picture and then cut it like a puzzle and then hand out the different pieces.
When you're in a small business with, the Academy doesn't have a marketing department that has 10 people in it and doesn't have, an administrative team of 30 people. So how does it work when you have 2 people?
You have to get very creative every day. And so it is mentally taxing if you are not prepared, if you don't like that kind of thing, because your marketing plan for the last show may never be relevant again. We just got to move forward on the next one. And you could do something as traditional as a billboard today and a flash mob tomorrow. And you have to have people around you that trust your vision, and to keep going, no matter how crazy your idea is. I could say, come on, we're just going to do some things on YouTube and it's going to be fun and weird. And they kind of go with me, and we're going to go to the park today. We're just going to go to other events and shake hands, which is something we can't do now. No one's shaking hands, but that's the kind of thing I do for every show. And as you know, specifically with Impact, I like doing community events. Those are really wonderful, and it helps build relationships. So that crosses over actually not just in marketing, but in public relations. And a lot of times those work hand in hand for the long-term goals.
What has changed now that you are more than the marketing director and public relations person? What has changed now that you are the Associate Artistic Director?
I spend a lot more time with Robert Drake, our artistic director, really trying to build a season. And I can now say, hey, look, based on my time in the marketing, this is the kind of thing that our audiences are looking for. And that doesn't mean we always stick to that, but I can bring that to the table, and he's very appreciative of that. I can say these kind of events really work well with our young kids, with our families. They like this kind of show. And we put together a season based on that. And I think moving forward in the pandemic, everyone wants to know that they can be safe when they come see your production. And that's where the marketing is really going to go. So as Robert and I try to pick shows for the Academy, we're going to say, okay, great, but what marketing twist can we put on it so that everybody knows that they're safe? What are our protocols?
Now, do you think that because people are getting vaccinated, do you think that there will be less concern about safety?
I don't think so. And I say that because not everyone is going to get vaccinated by, I think they said like Memorial Day, the
Mhm.
majority of people. Some people won't for whatever reason. And so there's still going to be a certain level of safety guidelines that you want to put in place, because you don't want to put anybody on the spot. And did you get vaccinated? Can you get vaccinated? We're not here to judge you. We're here so you can come to theater, because it's supposed to be everyone's happy place and tell you a wonderful story and go to some magical land. And that's what we want to do. So I think that probably for at least the next 6 months, we are going to still be cautious. We'll still be in that place.
I think you're right. I've talked to some people, and they have we've had conversations about whether people will still do virtual or whether they'll do in person or they'll do a combination. Any idea or any thoughts on that? What's happening?
I think that come summer, more places will open on a very, very small scale. And I pray for all the people that are just opening back up, because you have to get over the hump. You can't have the 100, 200 people that you used to. You're probably going to open small on 50. And a lot of companies have really run out of reserves. And that's a major concern. But I think people will start opening. More people will do outdoors. But I think the building itself will be in use, particularly at the Academy. We are trying to open this summer, but again, at 25, 30% capacity to start out.
But how does 25 or 30% capacity pay the bills?
It doesn't. I'm sorry, I know I'm supposed to be the optimist, but you start small so that you don't completely go away, and you want your audiences to know that you're still here and you still care about putting on the kind of art that they've come to love. But there are going to be other ways. You're going to have to find other ways to make money. You're going to have to go digital, which I know some companies don't know how, but you're going to have to try to figure out how to do some digital things. And also products that are geared towards young people are doing well, because statistically across the board, young people aren't getting COVID in the same kind of numbers as the adults. And if you have a very stringent protocol and guideline in place that parents can see, that all your people can follow, then you might be able to monetize some of your TYA. I got 3 kids. I'm still looking for somebody from time to time to entertain my child.
Well, why don't you just get up in front of them and sing and dance?
For the first 6 months, we did a lot of that. We made a lot of our own puppets at home. We colored a lot. We did our own outside in the backyard. They made up their own shows. It was fantastic. I would love a little help.
Understood. Definitely understood. Now, speaking of young people, you also teach. You teach not only at the academy, but you also teach at St. John the Evangelist, right?
I do, and I now also teach at Creative Learning Studios, and I'm still doing voice lessons. And yes, I have a life filled with young people every day.
We are fostering the next generation of theater lovers, goers, doers, even if they don't decide to go into the arts. They hopefully will learn an appreciation and a love for it and go, hey,
absolutely,
let me go see something, or let me give a little bit of money to the academy. Impact, please, to somebody.
Exactly. I love it. And that's why I got into it, because I love the spark. I think everyone needs a creative outlet. And I love seeing them in the audience after they've taken a class or a workshop and they understand something a little better. I love seeing the little light bulb, but lately it's been more therapeutic, because we forget the kids are going through a pandemic as well, and they don't understand it. We don't understand it, not completely.
Right.
So they really don't. And so this outlet has allowed them to put into dance, into song, into whatever things that they may not be able to articulate, to process their feelings in a productive way. Because I want you to let it out, because I'm scared, I'm confused, I'm frustrated as well. And so it's been really nice to have 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour for children to release that and then go home okay, and they can go fight another day. Because I feel like we're like all in this battle together. And so it's been wonderful, as crazy as it is. It's almost like a little pandemic perk.
So are you're teaching in person, not virtual?
Both.
Okay. So talk to me about the difference. Talk to me about the difference between the virtual and the in-person teaching.
For virtual, in a word, exhausting. Lovely to have that option, but when you're in person, you can sing something, dance something, say a line, and then let them try it. For some reason, there is a level of disconnect, and I have found myself singing the same 8 bars of song over and over. You have to sing it. You teach choreography, and it's just you in a room. So you are the one that has to do it over and over again. You're not in a studio with mirrors on a wall. So you're constantly repeating yourself. And then going, did you hear that? Can you turn your mic on? Okay, now mute yourself. Mute yourself. Mute yourself. You know what I'm talking about. But it's great to have it. I've actually gotten more students that don't live close to the studio or to the theater. Okay. Because we now offer the virtual, and they still feel like they're getting something out of it, because I'm always asking. I love feedback. I want to improve. And they have really appreciated. So I think even as we get out of the pandemic, it's wonderful that we now know how to do virtual lessons. I am currently directing Mary Poppins Jr. for Town Square Playhouse in Fayetteville. And even though it is in person, all my little people are in masks. I am in a mask. I see little eyes and hair. That is all. And one day, I'm outside with the kids, they're getting picked up, and I saw a little boy get into his mom's car, and he took his mask off, and I went, that's what he looks like. He has braces. Oh, okay. Oh, he's so cute. So I miss seeing little faces.
Oh my gosh. How? Because you're doing singing with mask on.
Yes.
Which I guess actually will help them over enunciate and make it very clear by the time you On the
eventually,
stage, yes.
but you spend a lot of time like what was that? Do you have a question? Pull it away from it. Take 12 steps back from everyone and put a face shield on. So we actually perform in the big clear shield. Makes me feel like we're in Star Wars, but it's okay. At least I can see their face. But until then, they're in the mask.
Mary Poppins in Star Wars.
That's kind of how it feels.
I think the next show needs to be some very space oriented show. So that
Well, Mary Poppins is magical. I think she did go into the great beyond. I believe it. I'd go see it.
you said something about you love getting feedback.
I love that the Academy has stayed educational based. We don't just incubate actors, but also help companies. We have interns of all ages, and it is because we're constantly trying to teach on every level. And if you want to remain a good teacher, you have to remain a good student. And it also helps curb your diva attitude to constantly be getting that feedback because you are constantly humbling yourself in order to grow. And I take that with me even when I'm not at the Academy, because I just love the whole take a breath, take the feedback, take the comments. It's okay. And you can decide whether or not you want to implement, and thank them because it was brave of them to write it down or to tell you. And when you're not used to it, it hurts. But now I'm at the place where thank you for the compliments. I appreciate it, but I start, especially if they're written with a lot of our shows, we have an open dress and you're allowed to write down your comments. I start with the negative feedback first because I don't need the smoke blown up my butt. Yes, I love a great show. I had a wonderful time. That was wonderful. Great show. I didn't hear this. I'm going to check the mics. Maybe it is my fault. I don't know. But thank you. Thank you for letting me know you didn't hear. I appreciate it because I want you to hear the whole story. And you thank everyone. You thank them. And that doesn't mean giving them money or little trick. It's look them in the eye and say thank you. You get an email with a comment, thank you. Thank you very much. That way they know they've been heard, and that's so important. And that's how people come back because they feel important and your audience is important.
Speaking of audience, Hapeville is a small little town.
It is.
It's a very, quaint little hometown. Where does the Academy get its audience?
So it is a small town right next to the airport. So we have a percentage of transient people. I just wanted to come in and I realized that my hotel was close to a little theater and I have nothing to do tonight. We also are not far from Northside Drive. I can be in downtown Atlanta in 10 minutes. So we have a lot of people in town. Also being in between 75 and 85. We have a large portion of people from the South Fulton, Fayette, Henry County, Clayton County area that are looking for a professional theater to be a part of their repertoire. So we are all over. It's a small town that is so perfectly placed. Honestly, Academy ended up right where it was supposed to be. We are in the heart of everything, but in a cute little town. We've got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, because people think of Hapeville and they go, Hapeville? Oh, I don't want to go all the way to Hapeville. But Hapeville really is very convenient.
It's close to everything. Tell me where you are, you can get here. If you can get to the airport, you can get to the theater. That's where we are. So it's been great. We've actually increased our audiences when we went on a full marketing campaign of "This is where we are." When Hateville also started to rebrand itself along with us, and it was very successful. And we got a lot of calls of, "Really? You're that close?" So branding campaigns work. It's like starting over.
I am very blessed to be fiscally sponsored by the Academy Theater Impact.
Mhm.
I get a chance to benefit from all of the Academy's marketing, the Academy's placement of where they are and their
Mhm.
building and all of the wonderful things that happen there. So talk to me about the building because it's new. Well,
It is. It's still in so many ways brand new. We opened October 11th, 2019. I know this because that's my husband's birthday. That was our big opening gala. And we were so excited because we went from a storefront with what, 50, 60. If we squeeze everybody together, we 65. And two poles right in front of the stage. And now we have 136 seats, and we have the red curtain, and we have a stage. We have a big grown-up stage and lights, and there's a chandelier. There's two chandeliers and these red chairs, and the chair campaign went so well. I ran out of chairs by the time we actually announced that we had a chair campaign. And we turned our storefront into this cool lobby with an extra small stage for cabarets and the exposed brick. And then lo and behold, in some basement in downtown Hateville, we found the old hardware sign because the theater used to be a hardware store. And so that's how we decorated the bar to pay homage to where we've come from. It was grand, and it was one of the happiest days of the Academy's life in October. And we shut down in March 1st. So October, November, December, January, February, we have 5 months. So I feel like we're 5 months old. We're still in diapers. Our building is still in diapers. We might be crawling. I don't know if we're walking, but it still has the new smell. The dressing rooms. We always wanted dressing rooms, and now we have the equity. We have the full shower that no one really got a chance to use, and we were very fortunate to partner with the city itself. They really wanted better for the whole town, and they realized for economic development, having a theater on Main Street would be a wonderful thing, and they invested $2.2 million into this building to make it happen. And they even helped with the outdoor sign. It says Academy in beautiful lights and downtown Hateville, and then we shut down. So I'm excited about getting back in, even on a small scale. It's ready to be used. The curtain wants to be opened. The sound booth wants to be turned on.
Well, the city has been very supportive. The city has said it's important to have art. Hateville believes that art is important.
It does. And we love our little town, and they have been helpful even during the pandemic with helping us with our outdoor season. Last year, we did some concerts, and they were there, and the mayor shows up to so much. Mayor Alan Hallman has been one of our biggest fans from the absolute beginning, and I appreciate him, and council. They call and ask, how can I help? And that kind of thing will get us over the hump. I'm just going to call it a hump, and help bring people back, because when they see their friends do it, they'll call and they'll ask, are you open? Do you wear a mask? How often do you clean? What's the show about? Oh, it doesn't matter. I want to get out of my house. They'll come because they've always been so helpful the entire time.
Do you have any idea what the racial makeup is of Hapeville?
I don't have the exact numbers. That's why I started racking my brain. I'm not quite sure. But Hapeville itself is actually extremely diverse, not just in white and Black, but also Hispanic. We have quite a large Hispanic population within walking distance.
Mm.
And we have a huge population of people with young children. We have lots of small families involved. And Hapeville is so close to its neighboring towns that a lot of times our statistics get mashed together with East Point and College Park, because everyone is just so used to intermingling and working together. So I appreciate that as well. But we are very diverse in Hapeville.
How does that affect the outreach?
It affects it in a way that when you do your public relations and your community events, when we first moved in, the majority of the locals had never seen theater at all. And so instead of constantly trying to discount your tickets to where none of your shows make money, you have your big main stage things that people that have the disposable income will come and see. And then you have events where you just put it out there for the people and say, hey, we're here. We want to get to know you. And the Hapeville Elementary was very helpful and letting us come in. And we actually did Christmas Carol a few years ago with them. And we started building a friendship with the locals on different ways that theater can be used. And it wasn't just this thing for rich people to do. And getting the locals acclimated to, we're going to be in the park. We're going to be in the theater. We're going to be in your schools. We're everywhere. Hey, we're not going anywhere. We're not one and done. We're here for the long haul.
Yes.
And then some of our staff live in Hapeville. Our managing director lives there. I work in the schools. We're here all the time. We just sit down with them and keep talking. And now they come. The locals now come to the shows. You just keep trying. Most of your marketing will fail.
Okay.
Sometimes marketing is trial and error, but you keep going. You have to keep going, because people will feel like you're just here for the day. But if you're trying to build relationships, you have to keep trying, and trial and error is not a bad thing. And you keep going, and someone will try to come. You can't just put up a flag and hope that somebody salutes.
Oh.
That's what I call, putting something, hey, we're doing the show. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to tell you I'm doing the show. All you did was put a flag on the flagpole and put it up there and hope that somebody salutes. You got to keep saying it, keep going, and meet them where they are constantly. It took 2 years just to really start seeing the numbers for people to come in. 2 years.
But that's also a wonderful thing, because once people start coming and you build a sense of community, then people want to come back and they want to bring friends and they want to. And you've made an impact on the community where you work, where you live, where you play. Yeah.
When I was in college, I remember sitting in my theater management class with Joan McCarty, Professor Joan McCarty at Spelman College, and she was talking about, if you make no connection with your local community, I'm not talking about being a community or a professional theater, but if you never reach out to the people near you, you're 1 or 2 shows away from closing. Because economies bust all the time. Like the real estate bubble and then it burst, and things are so cyclical. If you only reach a certain kind of people all the time and you never look at people where they are, you're only 1 or 2 shows away from closing. And then what happens then? Then you put out an all call and help, we're on the verge of closing. But if you never built any relationships with anyone, who's going to help you out? So that's how she started her theater management class.
You've directed a lot of shows. You've directed a lot of musicals. You've directed children.
Yes.
You've directed serious pieces. What do you enjoy directing most?
I think I'm like you, Brenda. I just enjoy directing. I love getting people to tell a good story. It can be through a song, it can be a straight play, but give me a good story to tell and I will tell it, and actors to play with. Uh,
There you go.
I got into directing because I hit a point where I wanted to be able to mold the show. You know, when your brain turns from, as an actor, you're thinking about your track and as how it relates to other people. And then suddenly it became, but what does the big picture look like? And so I started directing shows at the schools I was teaching, and they weren't good. The kids were great. I was not good. I did not know how to communicate to them what I was looking for. And I just started watching directors I love. I stalked all of Brenda Porter's shows
Oh, how
and
nice.
and started, looking at what did I learn in school about that directing thing, and then auditing classes. I take classes online for marketing, for directing, for anything I could get my hands on, anything I have time for. Sometimes I think I have time for it and I don't, and I fail the class and I just take it again. Because it's not about trying to get another degree or certification or master's. This is, again, Fracena just trying to make herself better because I love the feedback and I love learning and growing. So I just constantly am looking for a class, a training, a workshop to take to get better, and then you just got to keep doing it, and eventually you go from bad to mediocre, and mediocre to kind of okay, and okay to pretty good, and then and people call you and they ask you to direct things again. Just keep going, keep trying.
Well,
So
I love that positive attitude that you always have because always have a wonderful positive twist on things. Yeah, okay, that didn't work, but
Ooh, huh, but when this has been going so well, I've just been happy about everything, but it's gonna get really cheesy. I really do love what I do. um when I first got into marketing, I thought it would be something small and seasonal, really, really part time. But I enjoy making sure that my artists have the funds and the people to see the product that they've been working on. I am tired of knowing so many talented people doing wonderful things with no one watching. I don't want that anymore. And so I did find joy in storytelling and producing and funding the whole thing. I really do love theater as a whole. I'm no longer an actor, period. I want to help you grow, me grow, all of it. And I don't want any more shows where we have to close opening night because no one came. I don't want that. And if I can help you with that, then I'm here.
as we come to a close, what words of wisdom or piece of information do you feel like you need to or would like to share with us?
Um, yeah, I don't know. This has been a very, very trying year and few months for us all. And as we all try to come back and do something creative, be patient with yourself, be patient with your company, be patient with your audience, because as scared as you were or are, so are they. And someone will come back. So just give yourself grace and keep connecting to people that you love and care about. Not just theater related, but anyone that you love, keep connecting with them, because this chapter of reacclimating yourself to working again is going to be just as fearful, but can also be very exciting. But give yourself grace, because artists, we can beat up on ourselves when something doesn't happen right now, successful 100% the way we want it. It's not going to be like that. We don't know what it is, so give yourself grace.
I love it. Words of wisdom from Fracena Byrd. I love it. So thank you so much for being on the couch or near the couch or something
Near
with
the
me
couch,
today.
it's right here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. For those of you out there, please make sure that you subscribe, comment below, like us, come back next week. And meanwhile, keep the conversation going.